This occasion is also an opportunity for the university to recognize an exemplary leader who becomes an honorary member of today's graduating class. This honor recognizes persons who have made exceptional contributions to society, in this case within the business community. To such individuals, we grant the university's highest distinction, awarding today the Honorary Doctor of Laws degree. To escort the candidate and to present the degree, I am pleased to invite to the podium the Dean of the Graziadio School of Business and Management, Dr. Linda A. Livingstone. Linda.
Provost Tippins, today it is my honor to present a man who presides over not only a fashion empire, but an automotive empire, a gaming empire, and a construction materials empire. Since the year 2000, Robert A. Eckert has been the chair and CEO of Mattel Inc., toy maker to the world with approximately $6 billion in revenues and home to such iconic brands as Fisher-Price, Hot Wheels, Power Wheels, Tyco, American Girl, Scrabble, and Barbie. In 2002, just 2 years after taking the helm at Mattel, Businessweek magazine named our honoree one of the top 25 managers of the year. This year, Mattel was recognized as one of the world's most ethical companies and one of Fortune magazine's 100 best companies to work for. Mr. Eckert has made a career of shepherding the household names and products we know and love. Prior to coming to Mattel, he was the president and CEO of Kraft Foods, capping 23 years of service, which included management of its Kraft Cheese division and service as president of Oscar Mayer Foods, where he oversaw the consistently successful Lunchables product line. And maybe if we play our cards right, he'll sing that Oscar Mayer jingle for us before the day's over with. Demonstrating a tireless commitment to public service, he gives his time and talent on the Business Council, the Asia Society, and Town Hall Los Angeles. The School of American Ballet awarded him its Corporate Leadership Award, and his alma mater, the University of Arizona, granted him its Lifetime Achievement Award. We were honored to have him join us 2 years ago as a speaker in our Dean's Executive Leadership Series, and I must say he remains one of our most popular speakers in that series. Provost Tippins, it is truly an honor to present a value-centered leader, Robert A. Eckert, for Pepperdine's preeminent distinction, the Honorary Doctor of Laws degree.
Robert A. Eckert, because of your wise and steady leadership shown in the astute care and management of companies, brands, and products that we have come to trust and depend on, and I might say play with, to socialize and educate our children and to contribute to the health and vitality of our society, because of your loyalty to the ideals of ethical trade and commerce, such that you commit yourself to your company for the long term and hold them to the highest standards in manufacture, corporate governance, and employee working conditions, because of your commitment to the support of higher education, citizen discourse, and American cultural life is an example to us all, especially to our students. Therefore, now let it be known that by the power vested in me by the Pepperdine University Board of Regents, I hereby confer upon you the honorary degree of Doctor of Laws with all of the rights, duties, and privileges thereto appertaining. Congratulations, Dr. Eckert.
Thank you, Dean and Provost. So you can become a doctor. It's just a shortcut. It is an absolute pleasure to be here with you today, fellow graduates. Now that you've all earned your degrees, I know you're ready to carry the torch of leadership. I recently did a search on bookseller Amazon.com for leadership, and more than 350,000 titles match this search query. Is leadership really that complicated? If it were, would you and I be able to learn it, much less practice it? Maybe it's like weight loss. There are thousands of books on that subject, but the reality is pretty simple. Eat less and exercise more. Let's assume, for the sake of argument, that leadership really is that simple, and that if we understand just a few simple things about it, we'll be better equipped to make our way through those 350,000 titles and realize our leadership potential. To me, regularly asking yourself just 3 questions will help you reach your leadership goals. First, will you be outworked? Second, are you comfortable in your own skin? And third, do people want to see you win? First, don't confuse overworking and outworking. It's not about working the most, but about working smart. I heard a great quote once in a commencement speech that made me chuckle. All the straight A kids are working for those of us who made B's and C's. I bet you can guess I wasn't a straight A student at the University of Arizona, and I thoroughly enjoyed my time there. I remember reading recently in the Wall Street Journal that only about 10% of the CEOs running Fortune 500 companies graduated from the Ivy League. In fact, according to the article, in recent history, the University of Wisconsin has produced more Fortune 500 CEOs than the most represented Ivy League school, Harvard. CEOs interviewed for the story all said that what matters more than college credentials is the person's capacity to seize opportunities. But who gets the opportunities? As Ray Kroc, who founded McDonald's at my age, not yours, said, luck is the dividend of sweat. If you weren't already a hard worker, you wouldn't be here today. But it's more than being a hard worker. It's about being a smart worker, because if you work smart, you can enjoy yourself, live a balanced life, and still reach your goals. Let me tell you my secret, what I think many of you who are parents might appreciate. I love going to my kids' athletic events. And with 4 kids, I've been to a lot of soccer, baseball, basketball, and volleyball games over the years. In fact, I don't think I've missed a single game. When I say that, a lot of people are stunned. They assume I don't have the time. But here's the key. At halftime, most parents are socializing, chit-chatting, texting, or just daydreaming. I work. It may be catching up on reading, working on a speech like this, or thinking through a thorny issue at work. I do the same thing on planes. I can honestly say I get my best work done on airplanes, while those around me are dozing or watching the stupid movie or reading the next episode of Twilight. Work hard, but work smart. Position yourself to seize the opportunities, because they will certainly come. The next question you have to answer is, are you comfortable in your own skin? Let me tell you what true leadership is not. It is not a popularity contest. Those of you who have children know exactly what I'm talking about. 33 years ago, when I was in business school, I met my very good, lifelong friend, Rick Lenny. Rick and I worked at Kraft together for decades, and he ultimately became CEO of the Hershey Company. At his first year mark with the company, Hershey encountered union issues at its largest manufacturing plant, the one located in headquarters in Hershey, Pennsylvania. Rick made the unpopular decision at the time to take the strike. For a while, he was vilified, but in the end, the issues were resolved, and today the company is doing well and workers are on track. Contrast that with General Motors. How many CEOs there have acknowledged the cost issues, but didn't have the gumption to deal with them? Didn't want to make the tough calls, the unpopular decisions on their watch? Well, who's dealing with them now? The Obama administration, the bankruptcy courts, and you and me, America's taxpayers. And like you, I'm getting tired of reading about crooked business leaders. They're dragging our profession through the mud. There is no way an unethical business leader asks him or herself, am I comfortable in my own skin? I am delighted that Pepperdine focuses so sharply on ethics. Think hard about whatever issue you're dealing with, and always, always do the right thing. There's nothing simpler nor more important. Sometimes the right decision is a tough one, but if you're comfortable in your own skin, things almost always work out fine. Finally, there's the one thing all leaders need: followers. In other words, do people want to see you win? So ask yourself, whether it's in business or politics or sports, who do you like to see win? Sometimes it's the scrappy underdog, maybe someone who's worked hard, someone who's overcome challenges. When you think of the recent presidential race, I think regardless of your political affiliations, many people wanted to see Obama win. I think the best advice here that I can give you is to be humble. Know what you don't know. Learn a little bit more today than you did yesterday. Coach John Wooden once said, "It's what you learn after you know it all that counts." At Mattel, we take this philosophy pretty seriously. When I was deciding whether to make the change from Kraft Foods to Mattel, I met with only one employee, the head of human resources, Alan Kay. I wanted to get a feel for the company culture. What I learned is that we both had a love for learning and that Alan wanted to inculcate this passion for learning into the culture. Now at Mattel, we have a freestanding leadership development center with full-time staff as well as guest lecturers from some of the top business schools. The investment isn't completely altruistic. In fact, it's a bit selfish on our part, as we want to retain the best and the brightest and make them better and brighter. By the time my daughter was 28, she'd already worked for 3 companies. When I was 28, I'd worked for one, Kraft. And I stayed with Kraft until I was in my mid-40s, working my way up the ranks to the CEO position. Now I work at Mattel. That's a grand total of 2 companies over a 30-year career. This isn't the norm anymore. As future leaders, you'll work with people who want to learn and grow, and if you don't provide them the opportunity, they'll move on. We try to cultivate loyalty in our workforce by being part of their professional and personal development process. At Mattel, in the last year alone, we logged 70,000 training hours, online and instructor-led, in the U.S. alone, and that's very powerful. And that commitment has served us well, as Mattel has been named to Fortune's 100 Best Companies to Work For list for the past 2 years. But as you know, learning doesn't always require the classroom. When I'm standing in the Mattel cafeteria lunch line for my daily BLT, I talk to employees. While the most senior people in the organization like to think they know what's going on, it's the folks on the front line who actually do. I have to say, in many days, I learn more from those 10 minutes in the cafeteria than I do in the hour-and-a-half-long staff meetings. So in the end, it's very simple. Work smart, be accountable for your decisions, and have the courage to make the difficult ones for the greater good. Be a continuous learner, stay humble, and always ask yourself those 3 simple questions. Will you be outworked? Are you comfortable in your own skin? And do people want to see you win? With the right answers to those questions, anything is possible, professionally and personally, and the best news is you'll have a great time answering them. Thank you and congratulations.